might have seen that I posted a few days ago that I found these two sets in Walmart, and they were side by side, and it was wild. I mean, my son and I had gone in there to look at Lego sets, and we got down to the end of the aisle, and I kind of had my back to these Playmobil sets, wasn't looking at them, and my son goes, "Mom, turn around, look." And I turned around, and right at eye level was this big Volkswagen bus set, and right beside it was the Back to the Future DeLorean set, and there was a guy standing just over here, and I went, "Oh," and I made this loud gasp. I scared the guy. I think he thought I was about to have some sort of episode or attack or something. I looked like Fred Sanford. I was just like, it's like, I couldn't believe it. Two of my favorite things in the world, Volkswagen bus and Back to the Future, where they were just right beside each other, right in front of me. I don't know how I missed it, but there they were. I bought both sets. I shouldn't have, but they're awesome. And several people on Facebook, when they saw I posted a picture of these two sets, and they said, "You have to show us these sets when they're all done." Well, my older son built the bus, and then my younger son built the DeLorean, and they're not complicated sets, but they're actually very cool when they're all done, and I wanted to show you those. And they come with these really cool little pieces and little parts that go with the sets. But first, I have a question for you, and this is totally unrelated to the sets. I had to tell you about the sets because I was so excited. I have this problem, and I want to know if I'm the only one who has this issue. Okay, I bought this shampoo and conditioner the other day. I was very proud of myself because this almost never happens. I had not this kind, I had a bottle of shampoo and a bottle of conditioner, and I used them both up at the same time without even meaning to. I managed to finish both of them at the same time. I was very proud. But anyway, I went and bought this. I got the shampoo and conditioner Nexus Color Assure, which I've never tried before, but I had a $5 coupon, so I decided I'd go for it. I did get my hair done today. I don't know if you can tell. I also got my eyebrows done, but not by the people that made me look like Bert from Sesame Street about a month ago. No. My hairdresser is back, and it's awesome. She did my eyebrows and my hair, and she's just amazing. I love her. Anyway, so I bought the shampoo and conditioner, okay? They both have a pump on the top up here. They both have this little pump nozzle. Okay, so we have the pump up here. Now, you're supposed to be able to turn this part to pop it open, right? You turn it a few times and it pops up. It did for the conditioner, right? I turned it like 3/4 of a turn, boop, and it pops right up. No problem. But then with the shampoo, I turned it and turned it. I tried pushing down and turning. It never popped up. I messed with this thing for about 5 minutes and just could not. It just won't. I tried pushing down and turning. It won't pop up. It just won't. Now, this is not the first time this has happened to me. This happens to me about half the time when I get anything with a pump, which is why I'm hesitant to get anything with a pump on it. Because about half the time, I can't get it to do. Now, here's the funny thing. I bought this bottle of liquid hand soap at Aldi. This was probably about a year ago. I got it home. Same thing. It wouldn't pop open. Now I took it back to Aldi. There's this one lady is just done with me. She is done with my foolishness. She is so over it. She always has this look on her face like. So anyway, I went in there and I had the bottle. I said, ma'am, I don't, there's nothing wrong with this bottle except for the fact that I cannot get the pump to pop up. She said, all you have to do is turn it. I said, yes ma'am, I know. I tried that. I tried over and over and it won't pop up. So I'm showing her the thing and I demonstrated. I said, look, I push and I try turning it and I try pushing on it and turning it. I try wiggling it and turning it and it just won't pop open. And she just goes, give it to me. I handed her the bottle and I swear to you, she went boop and it popped right up. She turned it like 1/8 of a turn and it popped up and she just goes, like, get out. And I'm just standing there, my jaw hit the floor like, are you serious? I did that so much and it would not pop up for me. And she's just looking at me like, please go away. She's the one I had the problem with the bottled water at Aldi. I don't know if I told you about that. There was this one time I went in there and I had a case of water bottles and I left it in my cart and she rung up my stuff and she rang it up so fast that I didn't have a chance to tell her that I had a case of a thing of waters in my cart. And then I got to the end and she said, well, next time you need to put it up on the belt so I know that you have waters. Don't wait, just put them up on the belt. So the next time I came through, I had her ring me up again. I put the waters on the belt. She said, ma'am, you need to leave your waters in your cart. Don't put them on the belt. I said, but you told me to put them on the belt. She said, no, I didn't. Okay. So, and she said, you need to tell me that you have water in your cart before I start ringing you up. So the third time I got waters, she rang me up again. And before she had a chance to ring up anything, I said, ma'am, I have waters in your cart. She said, you don't need to tell me that. Just bring your cart around. I just want to rip my hair out. This woman drives me insane. But yeah, she took the little bottle and she turned it like that much and it popped up and she just hands it to me and didn't say another word. I felt so stupid, but I was just wondering if anybody else has ever had this experience with pumps, or is it just me? They this is the hook, of course, that they used to hook to the cable to send him back to 1985 at the end of the first movie. And it goes in right here. Right there. And that's where, this is where the plutonium goes. Right here. Your vents right here. Your little light up things. And it actually, you can put batteries in it to make these blue parts light up. But we don't have any batteries in it at the moment. But the wheels, they make a loud noise, but you can actually turn them to make it the hover car, you know, like after he had the hover conversion done in 2015 when he goes back, when he goes forward, when Doc goes to 2015, and he had the hover conversion done on the car. But yeah, and it has, I put this sticker on there, the out of time, this whole piece, I put this sticker on there. It wasn't on there, and I put it on there. But yeah, I love it. The doors open like this, and you can see inside the car. There are all kinds of little stickers in there. There's one for the flux capacitor and the little gauge behind the driver's seat. Yeah, the little box that activates the time machine. So, I just thought that was super cool. So, there's the time machine. I'm going to show you the things that go with it. Of course, we have Doc. I don't know what this thing is around his neck. I don't remember what this is. He has this little clipboard on his jacket here. It's got the little biohazard sign on the back. He does have his two watches on, and here's the remote from when he was controlling the car at the beginning when Einstein was in the car. It's a little remote control. His little face. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. So yeah, there's Doc right there, and of course we have Marty. This little vest on, and his shirt there, and he had on that denim jacket with the sleeves that had the pattern on the underside. So we have Doc and Marty. I love it. I seriously want to be Marty McFly for Halloween one year. I want to do that. And here's Einstein. Doesn't really look like Einstein in the movie. Einstein in the movie was a lot more fluffy. But little Einstein, who was the world's first time traveler, he was the first one to travel 1 minute ahead in time in the time machine in 1985. And from the future, we have Marty's hoverboard, little skateboard. Actually, what does it say? It says Madrid Altera. I don't know what that is. I think his was actually, it said hoverboard. It was pink and it said hoverboard. So I'm not really sure what that is. Maybe that might be what his skateboard said in 1985. I don't remember much about his skateboard in 1985, so this may actually be this probably is the skateboard from 1985. That would make sense because the hoverboard didn't have wheels. this so he won't know. That's awesome. So that's everything that comes with the DeLorean set. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's just adorable. Okay, now the Volkswagen bus. Oh my gosh, the Volkswagen bus comes with a bunch of stuff. Oh my god. I'm gonna move this. Okay, the bus turned out way cooler than I thought it would. I mean, when I was looking at the pictures on these boxes, I guess in my mind I just imagined something really lame. I thought, oh, you know, he's gonna put it together and it's gonna look really lame. It's actually not lame at all. I will show you. I'm gonna roll it over here. Look at that. And it has a lot of detail. It really does. This is an official licensed Volkswagen product, so they can actually put the Volkswagen logo on the bus whenever it's not an officially licensed Volkswagen product. Right here, you're going to see something different. You might see a peace sign or something. It won't be the Volkswagen logo, because they can't use that. I stuck her up here because without taking the roof off, it's really hard to get them in there. But you have your little, I don't know if you can see the little hippie man in there. I'm going to take him out in a minute and show you. So we have this lady here, and look at this luggage rack. This is really cool. So you have your luggage rack. This is a rag top Volkswagen bus, which means this is a solid piece, but it's like the rag top Volkswagen Beetles. You can slide that top back. It's like canvas or something. It's just fabric, thick fabric, but you can slide it back and have it open. It's like it's a little sunroof kind of thing. And there were Volkswagen buses who had that. They didn't all have that, but some of them did. This is a split window Volkswagen bus. And from the turn signals, now the early Volkswagen buses had bullet style turn signals, which means they kind of stuck out a little bit. They look like a little bullet. They're kind of small. But later, they went to these flat, round turn signals. This would have probably been like about a 1965 bus or so, somewhere around there, judging from where the vents are located on the bus. These are air-cooled vehicles. You have your vents back here. At different times, they were in different locations. They were up here at one point. Most of them are down here, though. So, I'm going to pop the top off and show you some of the detail and take our little hippie friend out and show you him. Okay, I have freed the little hippie man. Look at him. He reminds me of the dad from, what was the show Michael J. Fox was on? Speaking of Michael J. Fox. It'll come to me in a minute. Anyway, he looks like the dad from that show. Oh, that's driving me crazy. From the 80s, like the first big thing he was in. That bugs me. It'll come to me in a minute. But he kind of reminds me of that. So you have your little guy here with this. He has this little camera right there. And here's the lady here. I removed her from the luggage rack. And here's the luggage rack. See this piece? It's a really nice set. There's a lot of cool detail in this set. There's that. Now, there's a lot of detail on the inside as well that you can see. The doors open up and you have a little storage here. This is a little table thing that comes down. There's a sink in here. Oh yeah, this little table folds down too. There's a little sink here, a little cabinet. These things fold up into seats, or you can fold them back as a bed. You have your little seat right there and a table. There's a table right here that folds up. I it had the little table that folded up, and you could use it as a table in there. Yeah, unfortunately, it needed a lot of work, and I couldn't afford to restore it, so I actually ended up giving it away. I gave it to someone who could restore it, and I don't know what happened to it after that. I lost touch with the person I gave it to, so it's gone. But yeah, it wasn't really the bus I wanted anyway. I got it for free. I don't know if I ever told you about that. It had been abandoned in a sheep pasture, and at my dad knew this guy who had a bus in his sheep pasture. He had seen it, and the guy told my dad, if you can get it out of the pasture, you can have it. Well, we got it out. I got spit on by a llama, but we were able to tow it, to pull it out of the pasture. When we first opened the driver's side door, there was a wasp nest. Right inside the door, there were wasps everywhere, and they came flying out. It was awful. We didn't think to bring any bug spray or anything, but after we eradicated the wasps, we were able to get it out. But in the process, this llama became very aggressive and angry at us for being in the pasture, and it spit on me. But we got the bus out. We got it back to my dad's house, and he got it running within like 2 hours. He had that bus running because he's awesome. My dad is awesome. But we got it running, and I drove it for a couple of years. But I knew it needed a lot of body work, and it was going to be very expensive. And I had hoped I would have the money to fix it, but I didn't have the money. I had to be realistic. I knew I would have to go into debt to fix it up, and I didn't want to do that. So I passed it on to someone who could afford to fix it. So I hope the bus is happy and restored somewhere out there in the world. So yeah, there's storage. I don't know if you can see it right here. There are little storage compartments in there. I think mine had that too. I think mine had some storage back there like that. And it had little doors. I think it did. I'm pretty sure it did. So the bus is very cool. And it came with they look like giant chiclets, but they're pillows. They're little plastic pillows. That's for the little fold-out bed in the camper. And a little duffel bag. You get this little blue plastic duffel bag for your travels. You have your little duffel bag. And a suitcase. And in the suitcase we have tiny things. We have a little tube of toothpaste, a navy blue toothbrush right here that the little people can actually hold, and this little red toothbrush right here, little baby toothbrush, and a hairbrush, a blue hairbrush in the little suitcase. So there's that. Oh, and we have a little coffee thermos here, and it comes with 2 coffee cups. These are like the little Lego coffee cups, and they stack together, and you can actually put them on top of the coffee thermos if you want to. Little coffee cups. Nice. And we get tiny food. We get tiny food. We have a little carton of something, and then a little carton of something else. There are pictures of crackers on it, and looks like fried eggs, or I'm not really sure. And another little carton. I guess these are cartons of milk, and I don't think the stickers were put on this one. I think somebody forgot that one. And I don't know what this is. It almost looks like a little, I don't know what that is. It's like the this one has the sticker on it. It's sardines. They're, okay, so they're little cans of sardines, but nobody put the sticker on this one. Yeah, they're little sardines on the sticker there. Sardine cans. This almost looks like a little map. So I guess that's for the adventure they're going on. They can hold it right here. And it's a little map so they can figure out where they're going. And then we have this little, oh, it opens. It opens a little tiny plastic container, and it has strawberries and little pink balls on it. It has 3 balls on it, 3 pink balls. I mean, they're pink, so I don't think they're supposed to be grapes. I don't really know. It's like somebody blowing bubbles with bubble gum. You know, I knew a guy that had 3 balls. I didn't see him, it just came up in conversation. This was many years ago. So it's just a little container. I didn't know until just now that it opened. That's pretty awesome. So there we have. I put him back in there. We have the little Volkswagen bus. Oh, and I do have the side view mirror, but it keeps falling out. So I just left it out so it wouldn't fall out. But there is a side view mirror for it. I think I'm just gonna have to take some super glue or something and just glue it in there because it keeps falling out. But yeah. Oh, and you even have the Volkswagen hubcaps with the VW on them, just like the real thing. Oh my gosh, look at that. We had several Volkswagens when I was growing up. My mom had this really pretty blue Volkswagen Beetle when I was a kid. And then later, when I think I was in middle school, she had a Carmen Kia that my dad got at an auction somewhere, and he fixed it up. It was really funny too because it needed to be painted. So my dad got this paint. I don't think it was. I think it was like exterior paint, and he painted it, and he actually did a pretty good job. It looked really good, except a giant mosquito hawk landed in the paint on the hood while it was still wet and died, and he just left it in there. He didn't see it until it was too late, so he just left it. So there was a dead mosquito permanently entombed in the paint on the hood of this car. It was a good car, but I remember in the wintertime I didn't like it because the heater was terrible. I mean, Volkswagens are notorious. These old ones are notorious for having terrible heaters and no air conditioner. So it's really hot in the summer, really cold in the winter. And for some reason we never figured out what it was. The floorboards in the back, the tiny back seat,